the intricate tapestry of human emotions, revenge stands out as a powerful force, driving one towards action, fueled by a desire for retribution. A primal instinct as old as time itself, offers a glimpse into the depths of human nature. In a highly anticipated rematch, Miguel Cotto was set to face off against Antonio Margarito. The first meeting was controversial, as Margarito was found to have loaded raps a fight after. Etching thoughts in one's doubt, was his raps also loaded the fights before? The bout was for the WBA Super welterweight world title at the historic Madison Square Garden. Some had favored Margarito's rugged style to break down Cotto as he did in the first meeting, but others saw Cotto as being too technically sound, as he had shown stamina improvements to last in the later rounds. The stage was set for a showdown of proportions, as the two warriors settled the differences in the ring once and for all. With a mix of intense rivalry, fierce determination, and the spirit of redemption hanging in the air, the rematch had all the formulas to be a fight of proportions. There's never a more classic showdown than a boxer versus brawler, especially when it's Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Margarito embodied his nationality's core essence, the blood and guts warrior of the Mexican style fighting. There's nothing cute about the style, it's sheer violence, as he's looking to walk you down and rain punishment, up and personal. The pure Mexican style warriors personify traits such as tremendous choreo, durability, and a rock solid chin. Their philosophy is to take two punches just to give one. Cotto was a boxer puncher who fought behind a peekaboo guard. He had good technical abilities, complemented with solid power, and has shown he was able to counterpunch. Cotto's offense was well balanced. He was able to box going forward and backwards. Additionally, Cotto was also vicious to the body. To be elementary in breaking down a matchup, it's as simple as this. Margarito would be looking to punch his way in, as Cotto would be looking to punch his way out. Margarito only knew one direction, and that was forward. In order to be the Mexican style fighter, your foundation needs to begin with a solid jab and end with movement. It is essential to take control of the fight and tame the brawler. The distance cannot be closed, as the brawler is seeking to smother and drown the opponent. Cotto's piston jab didn't allow Margarito to get into rhythm. Each time they engaged, Cotto would stick Margarito before he was able to fully enter the pocket. Movement was key, as Cotto didn't allow Margarito's feet to anchor. This prevented the brawler from setting his feet to execute punches. This also took away his powers, as his feet were never fully planted long enough. It was the old fundamentals of boxing: stick and move. It was crucial to establish proper lateral movement. By constantly turning Margarito, the range and angles were at a constant reset. This kept Cotto's back off the ropes and prevented Margarito from cutting off the ring. The worst place you ever want to be against a brawler is cornered against the ropes.
So far, Cotto's still giving ground like he did in the first fight. Go back, force him back, lock him up and walk him back. Shane Mosley's also unusually physically strong.
Left hook. Both very clean.
To be an effective counterpuncher is to obtain great timing. Margarito's punching patterns were straightforward. He would jab his way in and throw punches in bunches. By throwing so many punches, there were many exposed openings, as each time you throw a punch, you present an opening for your opponent. Cotto would allow Margarito to open up. then punched between his combinations. Margarito's head wasn't especially hard to find, as he fought tall and didn't bend at the hips effectively. Each time an engagement would end, Cotto would maneuver to a different position in the ring. This allowed the engagements to reset, and Cotto would allow Margarito to open up again. Cotto would trigger Margarito with his jab. When Margarito responded with his own, Cotto would dip to the outside and return fire with a cross down the pipe. When Margarito would try to work his way in with the jab, Cotto would time him just as he entered the pocket. Sometimes it's best to fight fire with fire, and that's exactly what Cotto did. Margarito was a juggernaut. The way to slow him down his actions was by cover fire. The cover fire in this fight was combinations. Margarito didn't have the most sophisticated defense. This allowed Cotto to string together his offense. A steady mix of punches as Cotto went to the head and body, making sure to jam Margarito at the line with his jabs and crosses, then laying down ground fire with his hooks and uppercuts once the fight got onto the inside. The accumulated punishment started to show as Margarito's face started to swell, especially around his right eye. Once the eye was shut, all the punches from Cotto's left hand would be delivered from a blind side.
Cotto has landed, trying to get it. That hurts. That hurts.
Cotto's defense prevented Margarito from ever getting his offense going. The peekaboo guard was rock solid, as his gloves were glued to his face, giving Margarito limited openings. Along with his hips and head movement, this kept Cotto from being a stationary target. Cotto beautifully displayed how to stay off the ropes against a brawler. He constantly changed angles and range, making Margarito work to land the shots. There's nothing more discouraging than not being able to get into rhythm. His defense enabled him to position himself to land the cleaner punches. Everything in boxing starts with the feet. Position determines who has the advantage in each engagement. Cotto learned from his first fight not to overstay his welcome after each punch landed, preventing a phone booth fight. He fought on his own terms and picked his spots wisely. Cotto was practically pitching a shutout at this point. Margarito's eyes were nowhere to be seen. The skin around his right eye had swollen to a grotesque dimension, completely denying him of any vision from the right side. Boxing reflected the brutal side of life, ultimately metes out his own punishments. Cotto was finally able to put his loss to rest, rewriting his own path in history. A true display of determination. The fight went on to be stopped by the end of the night. Although this victory didn't prove if Margarito had loaded gloves or not in the previous fight, Cotto was finally able to put his demons aside, knowing that he was able to overcome his loss and raise his hand in victory the second time around.
Margarito cannot get a stationary top in the punch at.
Remember in the first fight when they had those kinds of exchanges.